So what is Operation Brother's Keeper?
Operation Brother's Keeper is a military operation where we assisted the country of Brazil in 1978. Go back a little bit. Early part of December, all the way to the end of December 1977, an incident happened, or a series of incidents happened, in a location called Colares in Brazil. People or villagers observed a craft flying around in the sky, shooting some type of a beam down at the ground. Sometimes these beams would hit people, causing excruciating pain and blistering of the skin. This went on for days after days after days. The Brazilian military responded, trying to shoot down these things. They were identified as saucer-shaped. So the Brazilian government immediately thought that these were extraterrestrial crafts flying around this area of Colares. And why they were doing what they were doing was trying to hurt the people on the ground. And over a period of several days, a number of people were injured and taken to local hospitals. Doctors at the hospitals would examine these wounds and figured out there was some sort of a radiation wound.
Oh, no.
They had to figure out what was going on. Why was this craft flying around doing these things? After a number of people were injured, Brazilian military, the Army, and the Air Force were involved. They wanted additional help. So they asked the United States government to come into a system. So in January of 1978, the Air Force Office of Special Investigations Support Unit at Brasilia and another unit in Argentina responded to Colares to investigate this incident. And we started interrogating people, interviewing people, trying to find evidence of what had occurred. Now, this is after the fact, of course. And we found some evidence of some small particle that was found in one particular area where these beams being shot down from this craft hit. And they hit this hard rock area, like shale. Mm-hmm. And these small pieces had embedded into this rock. And so now we have evidence of something. So OSI took this material because the villagers told OSI agents where these beams were hitting the ground. And they packaged it up and sent it off to their lab to be analyzed. They also were able to get medical records, and they brought in, the United States government brought in an embassy doctor from Brasilia, the U.S. Embassy, to examine some of these people and try to determine what these injuries were caused by, whether it was, in fact, a radiation burn, a laser burn, because even in the 70s we had lasers, or something else. And what they found out was that they don't know. They weren't laser burns. Mm-hmm. They were similar to radiation burns, but there was no radiation found inside the wound or inside the victim's body.
So they have the burns, but there's no radioactive isotopes that they could find.
Exactly. Nothing indicating that the ionized radiation, which would have caused these burns, because ionized radiation, either alpha, beta, or gamma, could have caused these burns. They couldn't find any evidence or any remnants or materials indicating this was radiation.
Do you know if those patients later on still survived or died of any weird cancers?
Some passed away from other reasons. There was a set of people, and I don't recall exactly how many, but probably 5 or 6 people that all died from liver failure some years later. And they don't know if they died because of this. Every one of those were subjected to some sort of a laser burn or some burn on their bodies. When we talked to these victims, asking them what they saw, what they felt, what they experienced, some of them said, we were walking down the street. Mm-hmm. We were walking in our field. We were planting crops. I'm at work, and these beams came down from the sky, and they hit us. And most of the injuries were either to the face, hands, or the thoracic area of the
exposed
chest.
Areas, yeah.
Exposed area of the chest. They don't know what they were at first. Some of the victims said, we saw these creatures. They not only are shooting from an aircraft or UFO, they came down to the ground and they got out and they chased us. hideous looking devils. They called them devils. And in Portuguese, they named it chupa chupa, or suckers. Some of these creatures that came out of this craft actually grabbed victims, attached to their skin, and started sucking.